Yeah, thanks for joining Platform 1. So I will demonstrate a little bit about the features of our new systems here. So I will be the first part. This is a presentation coming from the latest news which were presented on the NAB. So let's start directly into it because it's only a short time scale. Venice is our multi-channel server. Okay, this is our new smaller baby. So one of the things we have done, the Venice you can see here during the show is still a 4U unit. Next month we start delivering these boys. This is now a 2U chassis. Why have we made it? Okay, on one side it was possible to squeeze down 4 channels in a 2U chassis. On the other hand, it uses now 2.5-inch drives, and everybody knows at end of this year, 3.5-inch SAS drives will be end of life. So the production units will all stop producing 3.5-inch SAS drives. SATA drives will continue, that is not the question, but SAS drives will be not produced anymore. So therefore, DVS is in stage of switching the complete product line towards 2.5-inch SAS or SSD, which come later. So what the core of this box? Pretty small physical dimension, also green IT. We have 4 video channels. We have up to 9 terabyte internal storage. We have 10 gigabit onboard, USB 3 as standard, is Red Hat 6 as an operation system. Compared to its previous one, it's 40% less weight, 20% less power consumption. We can build a very high dense inside one rack. We can build up to 96 channels, so very, very high dense for confirmed spaces, less rack space. So these are just the key marks. So we presented also a bunch of new features on the NAB. Just a few of these highlights. So one of the new apps Venice support now is a multi-viewer software application that could run on any computer. So to understand the platform itself, it is a Linux-based system. It is a server. You place somewhere in your machine room. It has RS-422, it has VDCP, it has MOS support and so on. It supports all kinds of protocols. And we have an application that is controlling the system, and this application runs on all platforms. You can have it on a Mac, you can have it on a Windows system, on a Linux box. And you do a direct IP connection towards the channel. So you have an amount of channels that is available, and through an IP you connect directly to the channel from any of the systems connected in your network. And therefore this one here is a new multi-viewer software because it could show up all channels you have in your network on a separate PC. You install it on a PC, and then any channel, because we produce proxies and proxy resolution on the fly of any ingest or playout we're doing. It's constantly available in the network. So all these stream media could be then made visible with these multi-viewer software that gives you an access to all channels, and you see what happens on all the channels. And it's just an app to be installed somewhere on a PC, so it's not high costy, no special dedicated hardware necessary. Another thing that's currently in development and in beta phase with 2 large customers is a record scheduler. It's also a pretty nice thing. So if you have a bunch of Venice systems that are connected in an IP structure, you can set up what these machines should do on a definite time scale. So you can previously set up all your shows, you want to do live ingests or whatever. You have a scheduler that looks like this. Here you see all the sources you have. You can have different tasks on that because the Venice always supports 3 things. We're talking here ingest mainly, but it also supports transcode. So any format it supplies, it could also transcode into another one. And outgest means we can also have a complete playout and control from that. So you can have 3 types of jobs. You can have ingest jobs, transcode jobs, or playout jobs, and you can book them for months and years in front. Another one, transwrapping highlight, means no D and N code. So real head and tail cutting, so means within the abilities of transcoding, you could now, for instance, create subclips out of clips without a transcode. So you can have head and tail cutting, and we produce and soak out subclips without doing a big calculation on that. And for many codecs which are belonging to the same codec family, it is more than just a transwrapping, what we've written, not a transcoding, a transwrapping, what we do. So if you convert QuickTime to an MXF structure, and both are DVC Pro. We will only change the header, not do the whole procedure. This is speeding up time immense. So in all of the codecs, we are faster than real time. So all the transcodes the machine could do, and I will show you the list of codecs we currently support, are implemented by us. Please remember, the box is a Linux system, so we couldn't get on Apple or on Windows where all the codecs are nicely implemented, or more or less. On Linux, we had to do it by ourselves. So we had to make the contracts with Panasonic, with Avid, with all these guys, and implement it on a native base. That took longer, but it gave us the ability to do it better and faster. Another few new things here. There are always coming new storage medias and so on. Yesterday there was a nice event with Sony showing the F65 and their new master format. So we implemented, because this is also one of the things that is unique for Venice. Venice could also do uncompressed. Venice supports JPEG 2000 with accelerator boards, and it supports currently the widest variety of codecs available on the planet, even up to uncompressed. You can even have it to preview master content. So we support Sony SR Lite, Sony SR master formats in MXF OP1A if they're coming in, and then you can transcode them down to ProRes or something else what you want. So ProRes is right, is also one of the Linux systems that is Apple certified with a real contract with Apple to do ProRes, also in transcode faster than real time. So Avid DNX HD 444, many of the production guys ask us, because Venice is a very universal server. It's not so much limited only to broadcast. It's broadcast post as well, for instance, and could be used even in post. Therefore, the big variety of supported codecs, the big variety of supported compressions. AVC Intra Class 200, so it's the first full implementation of the complete AVC Ultra and Intra family. Means everything up to the 3D standard of 200 megabit and so on is already done and it's completely implemented. H.264 and MP4, high profile, main profile for ingest, playout and transcode available. Also there are some profiles available for proxy generation. The system is always capable during ingest of 4 channels to generate 4 proxies at the same time. You can choose either to have MPEG 1, MPEG 2 or MPEG 4. So the AVC Intra and QuickTime ingest, the MPEG 2 proxy files, as I mentioned before. Metadata handling, we added a lot of metadata support meanwhile in the SDI ingest as well. We had already metadata import from P2 and XDCAM media, so that is more a file ingest, not so much a baseband ingest. You can put a reader onto the machine, insert the material, and we extract everything out of it, including the metadata, and make it easy for transfer. I have a few screenshots showing this later. Yeah, customer configurable metadata attributes and metadata editing for MXF files. This is a very cool thing. So you can open an MXF file with the Spicer app, and you see all types of metadata, also all types of ANC data. And you're able to repurpose this ANC data and reroute it inside the file. So if there's some missing information you have in, you can later edit with our application. Yeah? Benefit, as I meant, fully configurable, full metadata support. So one cool thing, we meanwhile installed at 15 customer sites, and they're all pretty happy. It's a pretty new product, but it's very successful, even from the beginning, is the Avid workflow option we call. What is an Avid workflow option? So you have on one thing, you have a Venice server. On the other side, there comes a smaller one-U server across. What does this one-U server do? It transcodes any kind of format into a format understood by ISIS, and it does it in real time for 4 channels. So what we can do, if we have a Venice with Avid workflow in option and you have an ISIS 5000 or 7000, we ingest 4 channels instantly into your ISIS in any format. And if you have an interplay, we also log all the metadata automatically in the interplay. So at the moment, from speed aspects and so on, this is the fastest solution you could have, and it's the most versatile. So we support nearby any of the codecs. So we have Avid frame chase editing for signal file ingest. We have a wide codec support, all the DNX, the DVC Pros, the AVC Intras, the XDCAMs, they're all supported. We check in the customer metadata to the Avid interplay, transcode files, direct into ISIS and interplay. So very cool thing. And another thing that will come up during IBC is the way out. So we are currently working with Avid to get it done, to get these material also outgested. But there's an upcoming story. So a few things on the codecs and formats. These are just some of the recently implemented ones. We have a few customers that have a larger bunch of Grass Valley systems. So one of the things was the reason to implement all these Grass Valley formats recently in a project. We have JPEG 2000 hardware accelerated. We build our own accelerated boards. And so there's an option you can take. You can put it in, and then you can generate via RGB JPEG 2000. And in this scenario, it also supports the IMF story, which is going massively into firmware distribution format. So it is an intermediate format that is coming from the US. So it's one of the new things after DCI and the DCP generation. They're now looking for having a let me say, generic intermediate deliverable format, which is IMF. And it's mainly JPEG 2000 or AVCI based. In America, it's mainly JPEG 2000 at the present moment. That's also one of the reasons we can generate these formats, and we can transcode them in real time to anything else you need on the fly. The AVC Ultra family, as I mentioned before, and the complete QuickTime, including ProRes, etc. So on the ANC side, a complete 74-3 support of MXF OP1A, also editable in Spicer, completely closed caption support of any of the included AFD, and in Spicer you can even display this ANC data and change it. So that's a little bit about the interface, how it looks like. That's an ISIS, how you know it when you have one. And in Spicer, which is our application, let me say, of media browsing and media content view. Also, this application is available, by the way, for all operation systems. And it's basic part of all our turnkeys. But licenses could be provided. So if you just want to browse license, to browse something, it costs you nothing. You can download it from the web and install it on your system base. If you want licenses that are able to change data in a way or manipulate data, then it is a costly license, but it's not very expensive. And it could be run on your complete network. So on an Avid scenario, it looks like this. You see the nice Avid colors. Yeah, so you can directly browse an ISIS system from here. And this could be installed on an Apple system, for instance, on a Mac OS system, and not like it is today on a Media Composer. You have only the abilities to see project-based what it is. Here you can browse from any system connected in your network what's on the system. So that is a little bit more. That is the Venice GUI, a part of the Venice GUI. We have a Venice here, so you're more than welcome to have a look at it, and we could give you a demo. And then if you open directories for file destinations during capture, you see all the ISIS, and you can build up projects in the ISIS and capture directly into it. On an SDI ingest, then it's also automatically to your Media Composer. So if this is locked to, there are two ways. There's the ISIS interplay route you can go, but you can do also a direct AMA. So you can even connect a Media Composer directly with Venice. Venice uses as an internal file structure this StoreNext file system. And that gives us the ability to export also the whole internal structure. On the outside, you have 2 times 10 gig E to transfer data, and you can connect a bunch of editing systems directly, and they could work from the storage natively. So, and then you log it to, and you see all the resources coming in. The delay is very short. So when we start recording a file, it takes roughly 8 to 10 seconds, and you can start editing the material. So that's another part of the view of ISIS. There's this ISIS only or ISIS interplay workflow. As I said, we support them both. You see here in Spicer all your file structures. So you see your hard drives you have. You see the SANs or NAS systems that are connected or mounted. You see volume. Here's an XD-CAM that is directly mounted. So a chassis, it's also mounted, and you can go in the different parts of the XD-CAM drive and see what kind of data you want to extract. You have the OPA ingest, and then you have on the other side in the network structure here and an interplay with the catalogs and all your projects, and you can directly link it to. You see all the time in our application proxies here. You can browse around, you can play back these proxies on the complete network. They're constantly built, so Spicer is also capable of doing permanent proxy generation of all your footage. And it has one other advantage. It indexes the file system constantly. So all file systems that are connected via Spicer are primarily indexed, and this gives you the ability, because it's an SQL database, to search very fast and efficient over your whole network structure. So one short thing, because I have just a few minutes. I don't know if you know our other systems, but I will just tell a little bit about it, what is new. So one is we have Clipster, is our flagship product. It's also used partly in broadcast, because when companies want to experience at the present moment 4K, or they want to experience IMF, then this is a machine to ingest this material and transcode it. It is a single channel system. Okay, it could do stereo, also stereo records on the fly in real time, which end up mostly at the present moment in 2 files, so this is the exception. But it's a 4K real-time system, so it could ingest all types of material currently coming in your facility. So you can plug in F65 material, Alexa, etc. I will show you accordingly. And one thing nice to the IMF, it is an IMF mastering. It has a complete software written for doing these masterings, and it's the choice system of Disney at the present moment to do these. These are the cameras. I've talked about it because also these cameras get more and more important to broadcast people, because it's all a mix now. In the previous years, it was a clear division or of the market. This is film, this is broadcast, and here we have the compressed files, and here we have the film people doing it somewhere on traditional film or on some media. Meanwhile, it intermixes a little bit, so there are a lot of studios having Alexas also for shooting TVs, TV commercials, TV serials, etc. And in this case, an ARRI does typically ProRes, because it could natively do ProRes, and then you edit it. But you can put it in here. We can transcode it with 120 frames to DNx HD if you prefer this. So we're much faster than anybody doing this. This is one of the strengths of the system. It supports all these natively in real time. So we have hardware debugging built in and all these capabilities that gives us a superior speed. 3D workflows now are standard, so the big hype on 3D is a little bit gone. But there's a lot of production ongoing. So Disney is producing all animation films in 3D, all. There's not one thing they don't do. So it is for them, it is an income stream, and you see also in the cinema revenue that the 3D films typically bring in more money. It's not so much a hype still for your homes, but also the TV sets on this side get better and better. So the latest generation of 4K displays now coming have all the abilities for auto stereo as well. So it is a little bit intermixed into that, but I don't think it's dead. So it's an ongoing thing at the moment, mainly in cinema, but with the next generation of TV displays without glasses, it could become more attractive for homes as well. And I just want to mention that we can do all geometry corrections real time on the Clipster machine as well. So if footage is coming in, it's an automatic analyzing process that is correcting the geometry on the fly for you. Last things, a little bit on the DCI validation. Clipster is a system very heavily used in London for all kinds of DCP generation. So all the big majors here have these systems to generate the DCPs you watch in the cinema. And one of the nice things we recently have done is a comprehensive DCA validation tool. We're working together with Hollywood in that to get it certified. That means Clipster is not only doing a one-shot solution for creating DCPs, it also checks these and makes a complete validation of the whole process, and you have the QC built in. So it's really a one-stop solution against all our competition that need multiple steps inside this scenario. They might be cheaper, but they take much longer time. Yeah. Last not least, we have also a smaller disc recorder family, also capable of doing all formats. Not so much focused on broadcast, more focused on general need. That is a Pronto family. It could do now also up to 4K. So it could be used also in all scenarios, from standard definition to 4K recordings and play out. And it supports, meanwhile, also compressed formats natively. It is a little bit the smaller brother of Clipster, with having less of the abilities in transcode and in processing. But on the recording side, it is a generic thing that could replace an HD Cam SR or something like that. It's mainly VTR replacement that is done here because it has a complete VTR emulation built in. So it behaves like a tape machine with a 24-hour tape. And you can just connect it in your machine room like you do today with the VTR, and you're set and you're done. So it's a not very complicated system to use. A short thing on storage, I just put together the main important things. Because we are running as DVS more and more now into broadcast, we're also faced with data security aspects, etc. Our very successful SpicerBox lineup, which is a storage family of clustered storage, has now, we have shown it on an instant synchronous mirroring ability. So we can instantly synchronous record, capture, play out multiple channels from these boxes with automatic redundancy and nearby no delay. That is just a short update on that. Recently, the last the revision 3 of these SpicerBoxes is out, and we support now for the archiving story, because I said before, the Venices support JPEG 2000 now, which is partly quite interesting for archiving, also lossy and lossless. We have now a story to write this down, so we support directly LTO drives with LTFS inside the Spicer structure. They could be read out natively, so you connect a drive like this, and we could read out the complete content, we could write the content. And a more sophisticated interface will be shown at IBC, where we have a complete virtual integration of these. You could shelve them, you could read them offline, etc. And we do it a little bit like Blu-ray. So you have a virtual thing, you put data in, and when it's full, we write it back and out of tape. Because LTFS gets more and more stable and more accepted by the market, and it's a cool thing. So, very last, Strawberry. on these SpicerBoxes, we installed, or we worked in cooperation with FlavorSys, which is a company also hosted in Germany. Project sharing tool, which is pretty nice. So FlavorSys Strawberry allows us to connect Avid systems, as you see here, Smokes, Mayas, Adobe CS, which is also, or Final Cut system, into one project bunch. So we can build virtualized projects around these, give them user rights, abilities to work with each other's, forensic search, etc. So the complete collaborative of a very mixed environment, and that is the strength on it. And it could be installed natively and run on one of our SpicerBoxes from this. So it behaves like a shared storage for all these systems, and you have project sharing in between all these systems. And when you connect the Venice to this as well, you can have, this is a module, by the way, that is an add-on you can buy to the SpicerBox, which gives you just the I.O. You have multiple I.O.s here available. You can record in any of the formats to any of the systems, transcode in between these, and have a complete collaborative for even a very mixed environment.